You know, sometimes the greatest stories in human history, the ones that completely rewrite everything we thought we knew, they don't start with a bang. They start with a whisper from a tiny piece of bone lost to time. And this story, it starts in one of the most remote places on Earth.
We're going back to 2008, deep in the Altai Mountains of Siberia. Archaeologists are carefully digging inside Denisova Cave. Now, this place has been a shelter for ancient humans for hundreds of thousands of years, and it's just packed with the secrets of our deep, deep past.
And right there, amidst all the dirt and rock, they find something, just impossibly small. It's just a single fragment of bone from the tip of a little finger. That's it. That's all they had.
At first, the question seemed pretty simple, right? But the answer? Oh, the answer was about to set the entire world of science on fire and introduce us all to a lost branch of our very own family.
Yeah, this wasn't just any old bone. This tiny, tiny fragment held a secret so huge it would fundamentally change how we see the ancient world.
The working theory was pretty straightforward. It's got to be a Neanderthal, our famous ancient cousins. I mean, they were known to be in the area, so it made sense. But when the team at the Max Planck Institute sequenced its DNA, the results were just, well, shocking. It wasn't Neanderthal, and it wasn't Homo sapiens like us. It was something else, something entirely new.
And just like that, a brand new character enters the story of human evolution. They were named Denisovans after the cave where this little girl's finger bone was found. Think about that. An entire species of human, discovered not from a big skeleton, but from the genetic code hidden in a fragment no bigger than your fingernail.
So, here's the bottom line. This completely shattered the old family tree. For decades, we were told a simple story. Our ancestors, Homo sapiens, left Africa and met the Neanderthals in Europe. But this discovery proved the ancient world was a much more crowded and, frankly, a much more interesting place. There was a third major player on the scene.
But this discovery also created a massive puzzle. Okay, so we knew they existed now, but they were like ghosts. They were all over the genetic record, but almost completely missing from the physical one.
This became the huge question for researchers everywhere. I mean, for Neanderthals, we have hundreds of skeletons and fossils from all across Europe, but for the Denisovans, who we now know roamed all across Asia, we have next to nothing. It's bizarre.
And seriously, look at how short this list is. This is pretty much it. The original finger bone, a couple of massive teeth, a jawbone found way up on the Tibetan Plateau, and a nearly complete skull from China nicknamed Dragon Man. That's the entire physical record of a people who spanned a whole continent. Just incredible.
But here is the incredible twist in the story. While their bones might be lost to time, their legacy is not. Not even close. Their DNA is alive and well, walking around inside millions of people today. In some populations, up to 5% of their genome is Denisovan. They may be gone, but a part of them is very much a part of us.
This genetic map, it tells the story their fossils can't. It shows they once stretched all the way from the icy mountains of Siberia and Tibet down to the tropical islands of Southeast Asia. And it proves that our ancestors didn't just meet them, they lived with them, and they had children with them.
So as scientists started to piece together what the Denisovans were actually like, using those sparse fossils and that rich genetic data, well, the picture that emerged wasn't just of another human. It was something more. Let's just compare for a second. That Dragon Man skull? It suggests a brain capacity maybe 20% larger than our own. The jawbone from Tibet is nearly twice as thick as a modern human's, with these enormous teeth. And their genes, like one called EPAS1, hint at some pretty extraordinary adaptations.
This quote really captures the feeling a lot of researchers have. The evidence we have points to a type of human that was more robust, more resilient, and maybe even more intelligent than any other on the planet at the time.
And this slide brilliantly shows the gifts they left in our DNA. That EPS1 gene, that's the reason modern Tibetans can live comfortably in the thin air of the Himalayas. Their DNA also gave some of us a supercharged immune system, like a genetic shield against pathogens our ancestors had never seen before. Some studies even suggest their cells age slower, meaning they probably lived longer, healthier lives.
So, okay, they were biologically advanced, but what about their culture and technology? Well, what they left behind is, frankly, it's mind-bending.
Take a look at this timeline. In that same cave, archaeologists found a beautiful, polished greenstone bracelet. It's been dated to around 70,000 years ago.
Now, to put that in perspective for you, this was made tens of thousands of years before modern humans even started building permanent villages, let alone the Great Pyramids. It's just wow.
One expert really said it perfectly. The bracelet has this tiny hole drilled through it, and it's done with such precision it could only have been made with a high-speed, stable drill. This is technology that just shouldn't exist in the Stone Age. It's like an artifact from the future found in the distant, distant past.
And that bracelet, it wasn't a one-off thing. They also engineered the world's oldest known sewing needle, a 50,000-year-old masterpiece of precision. They created complex symbolic art, beads. It all points to a really sophisticated culture. This proves they weren't just surviving out there. They were innovating at a level we once thought was totally impossible for that time period. Which, of course, brings us to the biggest mystery of all. If they were so advanced, so resilient, so widespread, where did they go?
So, what happened? Well, there are two main theories. The first one is kind of tragic, but it's a familiar story: prehistoric conflict. As Homo sapiens spread across the globe, maybe we just outcompeted them or wiped them out. The second theory is way more dramatic. It suggests the Denisovans pulled back into isolated strongholds, only to be wiped out by a global cataclysm about 12,800 years ago, an event we call the Younger Dryas, marked by meteor impacts and massive floods that could have buried their entire world forever.
And it all comes back to this: a single tiny bone from a little girl's finger. It's just such a powerful reminder that history is not a closed book. It's more like a vast, dark library where entire volumes are still sitting there waiting to be discovered, sometimes in the most unlikely of places.
The story of the Denisovans proves we shared this planet with other kinds of intelligent humans, people whose legacy is literally etched into our DNA today. So it forces us to ask, if a civilization so advanced could vanish so completely that we literally forgot they ever existed, what other secrets does our planet still hold, buried just beneath our feet?